Normally I speak extemporaneously, but I was told you got 10 minutes and I didn't want to start weeping, so I'm going to read the speech. Hello friends, good evening. I'd like to offer a very sincere thank you to the Space Foundation for the General James E. Hill Lifetime Achievement Award, and most importantly for their generosity and kindness in preparing me for this event. The people sitting in this room, you all are my lifelong community. 60 years ago, almost to the day, I presented my earliest work at the AIAA's first Electric Propulsion Conference at the Broadmoor. 60 years ago, I stood here talking about the necessity for electric propulsion. And after what seems like no time at all, here I am, an 82-year-old old man. I don't believe it. So first, if you would indulge me for a few minutes, I'd like to thank the immense giants who have impacted my life and helped me achieve things I never thought possible, most of whom are watching down from the stars. At 7 years old, you saw that on a trip to the Hayden Planetarium, my father changed the course of my life. A grateful first-generation American, he taught me early on how the immense blessing of learning through reading, art, music, mathematics, and astronomy was the basis for achieving the American dream. It was he who instilled in my deep love and appreciation for designing things, building things, repairing complex objects like used cars, speedboats, model airplanes. Most importantly, however, his generosity, curiosity, and love provided a childhood where I developed an unwavering self-confidence for my future endeavors. To Louis Goldin, thanks for these many gifts that only a father or a mother can give a child. With a love of education instilled in my father, I dove into the world of science and science fiction greats. To Michelangelo, who I read about and studied, Robert H. Goddard, Richard Feynman, Arthur C. Clarke, Isaac Asimov, Ray Bradbury, Kurt Vonnegut, and Gene Roddenberry. Thanks for your brilliant and awful, highly prophetic works. And most thanks, special thanks, to Arthur C. Clarke and Ray Bradbury for your enduring friendship to me when you lived on this planet, and the long talks that helped shape my dreams. To Dr. Simon Ramo, the genius and founder of TRW, who in partnership with General Bernard Schriever delivered a message of mutually assured destruction to the Soviet Union when they developed and initially deployed the Minuteman ballistic missile in only 8 years. We didn't have solid rockets then. Thank you for decades of invaluable mentorship. You taught me the critical skills of system engineering and how to become an effective executive. You asked me only pointed questions. You never told me what to do. Leaning into the tough fights and executing on my vision. To Jerry Elverum, who developed the deep throttling Pintle engine that landed Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong on the moon. As my first boss at TRW, you took me to school on how to rapidly and successfully develop advanced technologies. I still have the joy of exploring technology subjects with Jerry, who's 96, and me at 82. To President George H.W. Bush and Vice President Dan Quayle, thanks for your confidence in selecting me and your unwavering support to reinvigorate a critical and essential American institution. Thanks to the Senate Confirmation Committee, my job interview with them was much more difficult than my first interview with President Bush. However, if I had to, I'd face the committee again to be able to accomplish what we did together. To President Bill Clinton and Vice President Al Gore, to President George W. Bush and Vice President Dick Cheney, you allowed me to continue to lead. It was my nurturer. It was my life. Even after a change of U.S. administrations, you allowed me. And to carry out your vision for America's space program, and for that, I'm eternally grateful. I should like to thank one more president, John F. Kennedy. In the shadow of the Sputnik launch only a few years earlier, President Kennedy pledged Americans would land on the moon. That was May 1961. As I listened to Kennedy's speech, it changed my life. And I decided I had to go to NASA, skip graduate school, and help America regain technological leadership in the domain of space. Thanks to every one of my colleagues who have worked with this somewhat intense and somewhat quirky person at NASA Lewis, TRW, NASA New Edge, and today at Cold Canyon and Cerberus Capital Management. At every stage of my career, I've been blessed to work with brilliant minds who share my belief that developing and deploying critically needed technologies improves the quality of life on Earth and allows every American to feel safe and secure in their homes. Finally, the deepest thanks of all goes to my wife, Judy, who has the patience of Job and the wisdom of Solomon in dealing with this craziness. She's been with me on the whole path. We were married 60 years last June. At this moment, I have the privilege of addressing the very best of the space industry and to offer the following thoughts for your consideration. For every giant I just named who helped shape the course of history in space, there were thousands of others who made those very contributions possible. So, as my generation's leadership and impact in this area draws to a final close, I want to encourage you. You are the giants. Right here in this room, you are the giants, and the thousands behind the giants of this era. Right here, right now. And how you handle yourselves in the next 5 years will define the next 50 for the country, and by extension with our friends and allies across this very small planet. No guarantee of success. It must be earned. Democracy is earned every single day. How's that for a responsibility on your shoulders? I know you could bear it. I know because I've worked with many in the room, from government, whether policymakers or uniformed military, and many of you from industry and the investment world. I know firsthand you have the brilliance and the courage to face those who seek to thwart U.S. leadership. But it is going to take an all-out collaborative effort sustained over many administrations and across this planet. Are we ready for that? I deeply believe so. However, we should elevate some characteristics about how we work together, attributes that we uphold, but that may perhaps not be as prevalent as they once were. That is, We need to embrace a shared national vision beyond election cycles. We need to share information better between public and private spheres. We need to share credit and burdens with no hesitation. As I say sometimes, we must defend the nation, not our turf. Let me end by telling you what I mean by a shared vision of success. Michelangelo is one of my guiding stars. He was also a great scientist and artist. When asked, "How do you carve these beautiful sculptures?" he said, "I see the angel in a marble, and I carve until I set it free." Note, it is not one person carving the angel, but a nation, led by people in this room committed to do something worthy with their life's work. I see America challenged by an adversary. I've seen America challenged by an adversary seeking to spread communism globally. We prevailed, and I'm proud to be part of that effort. We are being challenged again. In truth, all of us here share a love for space, a domain we want to use together with our partners around the world to advance human achievement, human dignity, and human flourishing. Such a vision is what Kennedy, in his speech to Congress in 1961, referred to as a heavy burden, for which we must be prepared to do the work to make it successful. We will be successful because America is at its best when we face our toughest challenges and carry any burden as one. And I will be right there with you in the arena for quite a while longer. I ain't giving up. Thank you again to the Space Foundation for the General James E. Hill Award, for the honor of being with you today, and God bless America.